let's lower that volume on down here. All right. Okay, what's up, everybody?
Greetings.
Yes, it is I, Francisco, along with my good buddy Andrew. Charles will join us at some point. We don't know when, but he is speeding through traffic just to be on this show.
Because we're that much worth it.
Yes. So, I guess this week we're gonna be talking about. I guess now we're down to Game 6 of the World Series. That's what's happening tonight. Hopefully the Rays stay alive for at least one more night. Sure, you are on pins and needles, Andrew. So we'll see what happens there with regards to that. After that, it's just football. It's just straight football until maybe December. That's when the NBA is thinking of coming back. NHL is eyeing sometime in January, but who knows by then. Freddie is on. He's going to be here, so don't worry about that. And, well, I guess we can... I have lots of small segments here, Andrew. And I know we're not going to talk much hockey in the next few months, I guess. But we can still talk about it anyways because we love hockey.
Well, per Freddie, I'd like to make it a point that we actually talk about the NFL this week.
Oh no, listen, we're gonna do football at this point. It's just gonna be the way it is. And aside from that, and I don't know what the heck happened to the game in the background. I might just have to switch it out. Oh, never mind. Aside from that, we'll talk college football. I have that planned anyways. I have notes that I wrote down and things like that, so that's not going to be an issue there. We're definitely going to talk about it. Anyways, I've stalled long enough. Let's get to the meat of this stuff. I have let's get a small segment out of the way. All right, let's haul y'all. We highlight Hall of Famers. This one has not passed away, fortunately, so everybody can feel good about themselves. All right, we're not going to start off with a bummer. Andrew, my Hall of Famer today is Martin Brodeur.
Ooh.
Yes. Yep. Good old Marty Brodeur.
Arguably one of the greatest goaltenders of all time.
According to the NHL, he is, because he's one of the 100 greatest players of all time when they had the 100th anniversary of the NHL. So
surely Patrick Waugh is in there, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying he was one of the 100 guys.
Oh, so he is one of the best goaltenders of all time.
Yeah. Patrick Waugh's got to be there too. Come on now. There's no way he's not going to be there. Anyways, Martin Brodeur. He is a Canadian fellow, as we know. Drafted in 1990. That's how far we got to go back now. 1990, first round, 20th overall by the New Jersey Devils, who he primarily played for, and he had that one weird season, the Willie Mays-esque season in St. Louis with the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know what I'm referring to, Willie Mays played one or maybe even two final seasons of his illustrious career with the New York Mets, but a shell of himself by that point. I guess the same thing would be for Marty Brodeur. But the accolades, man, that's what we're here about. The accolades for Marty Brodeur. 3-time Stanley Cup champion. Let's see, he won in 95, right? 95 over the Red Wings. 2000 over the Stars. And then 2003 over the Ducks, right? I think I have that correct. Yeah, against Anaheim. Or the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, as was their official name back then.
And made it to a fourth? No, he's made it to 5.
Yeah, he went to 5 Stanley Cup Finals.
He's batting 600 on Stanley Cups. It's pretty good.
He lost in 2001 to the Avalanche, and he lost in 2012 to the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
So that 2012 one was more about the defense. Well, actually, the Devils have always been about the defense with regards to those teams. It was just stifling. So even in 2012, that was the case. But having a Hall of Fame goaltender back there kind of helps everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to, I mean, there's so much to point out here. So 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 2 gold medals. He won in 2002 at the Salt Lake Olympics with Canada. And then he was the backup goaltender in 2010 at the Vancouver Olympics. Yeah, I know, my dude. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm switching out the game here. I had NFL Game Day in 2001 in the background, but it is just running like molasses right now, so I am not going to have that going on in the background. We're a technically deficient show, but we're not that technically deficient. All right? I can step it up here. We'll get Madden 12 back in here. I'll try and find the other NCAA games along the way, because I think I only have like 2 of them, and we're gonna have to start highlighting them eventually. So Andrew, Marty Brodeur, he was a hybrid style goaltender. You know what that is, right?
Yes, I do. Although I'd honestly say that he was more of a stand-up goaltender, if I'm being honest.
Well,
you done goofed. Why did we done goof, Freddie?
For getting Madden in here? This is one of the ones before EA turned to crap, I think. Even though that's arguable when EA turned to crap.
I'd say EA started to turn to crap around the 2010s, maybe.
Yeah.
Tech stuff, yeah, we done goofed.
The tech stuff, oh. Okay, so,
Freddie, when do you know us not to goof? That's the freaking name of our channel.
Exactly. All right, so, yeah, I guess just because of, well, I mean, technically he was a stand-up goaltender. He started off a hybrid because the butterfly style was coming into style. I think he adjusted over time. He had to.
Right. I mean,
especially played
basically
that long.
Basically every goaltender is a butterfly goaltender to some extent these days.
Yeah.
I mean, to Charles, you can hear us,
goaltender.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Charles.
Hi there. Are we on to a semi-learner goof? Because
sure, why not?
Yeah.
Because that's I get stand-up goaltender, but butterfly is that just positioning? Because they all look like they're about popping a squat to me anyway.
Well, so a stand-up goaltender, and from what I've heard, Martin Brodeur was a stand-up guy, although I think I heard something like he cheated on his wife with her sister or something like that.
Yes. So his wife, or his ex-wife now.
Was this like 3 years ago? Because I think I remember this story. I love it.
Longer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so maybe bad.
Yeah. Well, he's he married his ex-wife's twin sister afterwards. So I think especially Rangers fans, I think they call him like Uncle Daddy or something like that as a as a way to get at the Devils fans.
It's Martin Brodeur.
Oh boy.
Or
Bro.
you could say Sistor, if anything, but I think that would just piss off people.
So, yeah, so stand-up goaltender, if you watch clips of goaltenders from
let's see if I can
basically the 1970s backward, you know, that is the only style you'll see. It's very inefficient. The guy would stand up and basically flail his arms and kick out his legs in an attempt to save the puck. You would not go down to the ice to stop a puck. And a lot of that is because goalies didn't. The first mask wasn't worn regularly in a game until the mid 50s. So you'd be basically committing suicide by intentionally going down to the ice because you're just going to get hit in the face with a puck. Needless to say, I mean, you already got hit with the puck in the face, but that would just increase the odds. So you just, it's kind of like how you see like a goaltender, like a goalie in soccer on a penalty kick, where they basically just like try and like kick their arms out and their legs and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's one way. That's one style. The second way is called butterfly, which was popularized by Patrick Waugh. That's where you're going down to your knees on the ice and making saves like that. Butterfly, the reason why is because if you were to look at the goalie from above, their legs are kind of spread out like butterfly wings.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the new method of goaltending. And then as a consequence, you started having hybrid goaltenders who wouldn't rely as heavily on either one. They are proficient in both stand-up and butterfly.
Yeah.
Stand-up goaltenders, basically a pure stand-up goaltender, they don't exist anymore.
Basically, I guess every goaltender in the '80s except Patrick Waugh, and before that, were stand-up goaltenders. They just stand there, and goalies weren't as good until Waugh came around, and then techniques started getting better, and eventually you get to today's goaltenders who are, as a consequence, the NHL has widened the net because goaltenders just got better at stopping the puck, and they've made their pads smaller,
Right.
just to allow for more goals. Because before it was more goals because you try and stop the vulcanized rubber coming at you at 100 miles per hour with I don't know, a couple of pillows strapped to your chest and trying to stop it like that. But that eventually they got better at it. They got better equipment and better technique, and so things changed for the NHL from that regard. But I could see your point as regards to Brodeur being, or at least utilizing more of the stand-up technique rather than the butterfly technique in his gameplay, because he would still stack the pads and things like that in comparison to other goaltenders.
So can I ask you guys something in regards to that? Do you not think how cool it would be to see a goalie who only has the butterfly position and have either a coach or whoever? What's the primary scorer? Ironically, I know soccer's the striker, but what would you say is the primary scorer in hockey?
Let's say the winger.
Forward,
Well,
winger,
left
all
winger
right.
or right winger, either one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because-
your centers are usually more of your playmaker facilitators.
Okay.
Just by virtue of being in the center of the ice, they have a bit of a better view of both sides. But you do have centers that are your snipers, scorers. Yeah. But yeah, like Francisco said, your wingers are usually your more high.
Like Alex Ovechkin is a winger.
Okay. So let me ask you this: how cool would it be to have either the coach or the winger or your primary shooter, when they see somebody in the butterfly stance as a goaltender, go, let's rip the wings off of this butterfly? I had to do it. I literally, the moment I heard it, I'm sorry. Forgive us. There's puns, there's analogies, there's colloquialisms. There's also references to a hymn song. For those who haven't heard that, that's a callback, 2006. It sounded cooler in my head. I regret nothing. Deal with it.
All right. Let me continue with Brodeur, and we'll get and move on from here. So, only goaltender with 8 40-win seasons. So he's up there with that. He won 4 Vezina trophies, best goalie of the year. 5 William M. Jennings trophies, best goal in tandem of the year. Won the Calder Cup his first season as a rookie, and 10-time All-Star. And the trapezoid was invented because of him, because of his proficiency with the puck.
So let me explain that one.
Yeah, please.
So,
Let me see if I can
Francisco, if
find.
you would, pull up a picture of a post-2006.
So let me see if I can find something here. NHL trapezoid, and see if there's like a video on it or something. Which apparently.
Or Charles, if you want to pull up one of your own,
Okay.
just look up NHL trapezoid.
All right.
So you see what we're talking about.
I have this guy explaining it here in the back, but you can't hear him.
Well,
but
well-
we can use his image to help.
Right.
Okay. I'm
So you
seeing
see what
it.
we're talking about?
Yes, that's the line.
Correct. There are two lines that are extending out from the end board, from the backboards to they call it the goal line, which is the red line at the back end of the ice.
Okay.
So that is colloquially known as the trapezoid. What that is the goalie can only play the puck either in front of the red line, the goal line, or inside of that trapezoid.
If he tries to go behind the net and he tries to like pass the puck or whatever, he
Yeah,
can
gets
only
penalized.
he can only be in that area in the middle behind that net. He can't go
Now-
to the corners.
Right. So, and I need to ask someone. Maybe Freddie knows, and maybe BU knows. I'll ask him if he's not here. But what I want to know is if the goalie's legs are in the trapezoid, but the puck is outside of it, is that the penalty? Or if it's the other way around, where if the goalie's legs are outside but the puck is inside, is that the penalty? Is that a penalty? But anyway, so if the goalie plays the puck in either of those corner zones outside of the trapezoid, it's a delay of game penalty for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just to be sure, the goalie doesn't serve the penalty.
It's a player.
Right, it's someone else.
They'll designate somebody to go into.
Right. Because that would be amazing if the goalie just came out and had to serve the penalty.
Well, aren't there a lot of secondary goalies anyway, or is that because I know that's been a common approach in the game?
I don't know if you guys.
Recently?
I don't know if you guys saw this, or it was on Twitter. Somebody suggested, you know what the NFL should do? At a certain point, penalties should just be like a power play in hockey. They should just take one guy off of the field and just have 10 guys.
Every time Brady intentionally grounds.
Yeah, exactly. You could do it vice versa, either way, defensively or offensively.
So back to why this has anything to do with Brodeur. He was exceptionally proficient at passing the puck.
Oh yeah,
he's arguably the best. He's definitely one of the best, if not the best.
I mean, he's got the most goals of any goaltender in NHL history.
And we're talking legit goals that he scored from his end of the ice into the other net. Admittedly, the net was empty, but still, it's damn near impossible to do. But yeah, he was essentially a sixth player when the puck came down on their end.
Yeah.
Which was, he would, it's like it. I mean, I'll leave it there, but he was just incredibly good at it. So, because he was so good at it, and other goalies were good at it as well, that was stopping offensive chances. Because, you get what I'm saying. An attacking player can now go into the corner to get the puck, and the goalie can do nothing but before, a goalie could come out and play it, and so that's one fewer chance that the other team has to gain possession. So the offensive zone instantly becomes 4 feet larger. They did away with the 2-line pass rule. They changed the way offsides work. It's they did a lot in the interest of making the game a bit more offense friendly. So that the trapezoid was definitely one of those.
And he was inadvertently the reason for the Avery rule.
Ah, yes.
And we've talked about that before. You remember our good buddy Sean Avery, right, Charles?
Do I hate him or like him? No, I like Brad
him.
Marshall.
You
yeah.
you would like him, I
He's
think.
a smack talker, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, let me explain why the Avery rule applies to Martin Brodeur. So during was it the playoffs? I think it was the playoffs.
Maybe not.
Avery was on the New York Rangers, and Brodeur was, of course, on the Devils. And during one of the games,
this was the guy that stood in front of him and just blocked his vision.
Because typically, you're allowed to block the goalie's view, but you just stand in front of them with your back to them, kind of facing the play, attempting to deflect pucks, things like that, obscure his view. Avery,
and it was during the playoffs. You're right, Andrew.
Avery did the exact opposite. He was standing around, and he was like waving his stick. He was like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man in front of Martin Brodeur.
Yeah.
And at one point, it obviously pissed Brodeur off, but it also led to a goal at one point. I don't remember. Eventually, the Rangers went on to the series, and a very controversial moment, Brodeur refused to shake Avery's hand in the post-series handshake line, which is like a severe breach of protocol. So after that happened, after the season, the NHL came together and basically said, you can't do that. You can't actively obstruct a goalie in that way. Which, if you're able to find
it's on the screen here. He scored the power play goal when that happened. You saw it there. So that was even more insult to injury.
Nothing better.
Yarger's
better than being that guy who gets a rule named after you or altered because of you.
Oh yeah, there he is. Brodeur gave him a shove. Boom, boom. It's great. I love it. And then he gets the goal right there, the tip in. Perfect pass from Yager to, let's see, who's that? And then I think it's Scott Gomez there. All right. So, yeah, that's Martin Brodeur. So, first in wins, first in losses, first in games played, and shutouts for goaltenders. So, he's a better version of Brett Favre.
I could put some comments in there about showing penises, but I was going to include the sisters and all this other stuff. And that's what Brett's final moment's about. But we're good. We're good.
We're good.
We're PG rated.
Yeah, well, for now at least. For now. All right. Well, let's see. Who are we had two sponsors so far today. We had the HyperX keyboards and Blood of Steel. Download for free. Join a true medieval epic war with multiple historical heroes like Caesar, Alexander, and Mulan. There we go.
Is Mulan even? I know I'm gonna sound ignorant here, but is that real credibility? I thought it was just Disney folks making myths about ancient legends that are just given a name.
We're not gonna get into that.
That's
There's
like
plenty of YouTube videos
saying,
about that.
Yeah,
especially
that's like
the new
equivalent
one.
of saying Gandhi, basically had duels with people. I
boy.
can't take it to credit anything that's been sensationalized by Hollywood or even any kind of entertainment media in a form of a video game.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on down to. I want to get these small ones out of the way because I know we're gonna just talk about football the rest of the way from here, unless something crazy happens in the World Series today.
Oh, Francisco. I know we wanted to briefly touch on hockey. I've been begging you guys to do this forever. I'd like you to do the the goal horn challenge for me. Do you think you can arrange that?
I can, but not on the fly right here. I have to download the horns, especially the
No,
newest
no, no, no,
ones.
no. There's a YouTube channel that has them.
No. But I would want, especially. Oh, this would be great for me to, because remember I wanted to do that idea with like the radio. You know, they have the weird sound effects and stuff during the radios and those crappy radio shows. This is
Right.
the perfect time for me to actually learn how to do that.
Okay.
So I can assign them to a key, and I have more than 30 keys on here, so I can find a way to get all the goal horns here. Especially when and if Seattle reveals their goal horn, that would also help.
Yeah.
All right, come on. So we did Hall of Famer. Let's go with better known minor league team. Just get them out of the way. I can do this one fast. Today, the Florida Fire Frogs.
Rest in peace.
Hold on now. Not yet. Not yet. All right. So Florida Fire Frogs, founded in 2017. They used to be the Brevard County Manatees. They played out there on the Space Coast Stadium. And then they moved on over to Kissimmee and became the Florida Fire Frogs. They were initially they were started in 1994 as the Brevard County Manatees, and in 2017 they became the Fire Frogs. As the Fire Frogs, they don't have a championship. As the Manatees, they won in 2001. They were their affiliate of the Marlins, the Expos, and the Brewers in the past, and they're currently the Braves affiliate. I'm highlighting them because they're, as Andrew has said, rest in peace, but we don't know just yet. There might be a chance. They're one of the teams, the 42 teams designated by that evil Rob Manfred of getting the axe starting next year.
Well, let me clarify. They're no longer, even if they are on the chopping block, they are no longer the Florida Fire Frogs because their stadium has been basically, it's going to be demoed basically.
Oh no, they've already moved out. So
Right, that's what I'm saying.
No,
The Florida Fire Frogs are dead.
No, they're still the Fire Frogs. They just moved over. They're playing now at the new Braves spring training facility. They moved out of the one in Kissimmee because the Orlando City soccer team built an academy there in Osceola County. Osceola County bought them out,
Right.
saying, "Hey, take some money, get the hell out of here."
Oh, I thought they were just done altogether, but
No,
they just relocated.
They still had a lease at the Osceola County Sports Complex, but they wanted to build the Orlando City thing, so they're like, "Here, take some money, find someplace else to live," and the Braves picked them up as an affiliate, or
Right.
they were already the Braves affiliate, but they're like, "Hey, we have the brand new spring training stadium." The Braves moved out of Disney World around the same time, so it made sense to move their Florida State League franchise on over to their spring training facility in Northport, which is in Sarasota County, along the west
Well,
coast.
they might
of
as well
Florida.
be dead to me because they were the last, in some way, permanent a permanent team in some way, whether spring training or minor league, in Kissimmee, in the Orlando area.
Yeah, outside of UCF's baseball team now.
Right, but I mean pro.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to get deeper into the weeds, you've got Rollins as well has a baseball team. Yeah, the end of the string of like, God knows how long that there were teams in Orlando, in and around Orlando. Like Lakeland still has the Tigers, and I don't see them moving anytime soon. Although I could have said the same thing about the Dodgers, since they were in Dodger Town since the 1950s, and then they just up and decided to move to Arizona for some reason.
That made more sense because it's closer to Los Angeles on the West Coast. So.
Yeah, but who the hell wants to play in Arizona? No offense to Arizona, but you don't got beaches in Arizona.
Yeah, but you have
The
all
weather
those.
is much nicer in the spring in Florida.
You have
than it
all
is
those
in Arizona.
retirees that still like baseball and watch it there. So, and then all the people from Brooklyn pretty much already died. So, they're all out in LA now. So,
That's perspective.
yeah. And so they play at Cool Today Park in Northport. That opened last year in 2019. 6,200 seats. The Braves moved there because they didn't want to travel anymore from Disney World to the other spring training complexes because they were pretty much either all on the West Coast or all on the East Coast. The Braves were like right smack in the middle in Orlando or Lake Buena Vista, whatever you want to call it. So that's why they moved out there. So now they're closer to like the Yankees and the Phillies and the Orioles and the Red Sox.
And to that point, like back in the day, there were one, two. If using Orlando as a center point, there used to be there were like 5 teams within like an hour or two, within an hour of Orlando. You had Lakeland, you had Atlanta, you had Houston, you had
Minnesota was there too, I think.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
So you had quite a few teams that were in the Orlando metropolitan area, but they're now all gone, which is so sad because I had such great memories of going to spring training games. I didn't go to my first. I'm a lifelong baseball fan, but I didn't go to my first major league game until 2007. But I went to at least one spring training game every year. When I moved here in 01 or 01, but late in 01, so I went in 02, 03, 04, 05, but just yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So very sad that everyone's gone.
The cool thing about Cool Today Park is they have outfield walls that look like Truist Field. A bunch of teams are doing that now. Their spring training field looks exactly like or at least the dimensions are exactly like their home ballparks, which makes sense if that's what you're going to practice on. As far as alumni are concerned, we have some significant ones. You got Andre Dawson, Hall of Famer. Tim Raines, another Hall of Famer. Josh Beckett, Yankee killer. Ryan Braun,
Mr. PED.
Yeah, there you go. Lorenzo Cain, Chris Davis with a K.
Ugh.
Ryan Dempster, Kevin Millar, Edgar Renteria, and Grady Sizemore. These are at least the 10 that I feel were the most significant. As far as and they didn't play for the Fire Frogs, they played pretty much for the Brevard County Manatees. So that's why you see some guys that were on the Brewers, on the Marlins, on the Expos. There you go. And so once again, I said they're one of the 42 teams in danger of elimination. So the Braves are about to choke away a minor league franchise. I need to get a dig in there. All right. Speaking of Atlanta choking. Let's talk about the NFL. That's a good segue.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
You have
the Fred.
You got Fred Reg, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna post it up, but I want to start with. I have some games I've highlighted here, but the most funny of all is who I'm going to assume is going to be Renee Tree's lol cow of the week, which are the Atlanta Falcons choking away a game by scoring a touchdown.
You do not insult Todd Gurley in my house, sir. He got me 22 points in both my fantasy games. All right.
He accidentally got you some points at the end.
There was no accident. He knew because he's playing for a big contract and he's playing for people to draft him. I took you in like the 4th round, buddy.
You know what? As I set up the Freddy stuff, how are you guys doing with your fantasy teams?
I am 4-3.
Are you ready for this? I'm 4-3 in both my leagues. So I won this week in my non-money league. In my money league, I dropped 194 points. I had 30 more points than the next person. My opponent had 30 points more than me because of Tyler Lockett, which is ungodly. And I made the smart decision not to start OBJ, and instead I put Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, and I forgot who my other guy was. Oh, Duke Hopkins or DeAndre Hopkins. And it was great. And, of course, 2 guys got injured in that game because OBJ is now gone for the year, which is all right. It's whatever. And then Chris Godwin broke his finger. So I'm like, mother effer. So Trash and Trujillo might fully become trash in and of itself. But in my money league, even though I lost by by 30, it's unheard of. No one cracks 200. I'm still in second place, baby. Still in second place. So we're on. Andrew, what's your ranking? What's your Fred rank with your fantasy team there?
Let me see.
Freddie, if you don't play fantasy football, I'd be very shocked because there's an inner gambler in there in you, and I need to know. Just Freddie, you gotta tell him, man. Let's see.
There we go. Now it's scrolling.
I'm in second place in my division.
I have 25 teams, bro. What the?
Oh my god, I just want you to meet my coworker, Ross. He has 10. I think he has a gambling addiction, and I'm going to not shame him anymore because of you. How do you live with yourself? Do you need a hug? Does Fred Rank need a Fred hug? You are more than you matter. That hole in your heart is not going to be, taken care of by DraftKings. That's a scam anyway. You get more rush doing cocaine, bud. I'm just saying that right now because the crash from that is not going to hurt as much as having a starter that you think is going to do something fall down like Aaron Rodgers last week only getting people 5.
He's got a winning record. He's doing something right.
99-76 on the year, I guess, but at what cost? It comes into it. That's literally like saying, "Hey guys, I'm cancer-free, but I don't have a testicle." You have to kind of weigh everything. Anyway, went
now. Now you see why I was just like, "Oh wait for this."
No, but I thought it was some BS. I thought it was like 5, and then he's like 25. Well, you know what? On it, and you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Fred on this. If the man who was accurate, 2 years in a row so far on his Fred ranks on our show, and let's be honest here, Freddie is an honorary Goof member. He is the 4th member. BU somewhere as the 5th as well. So if he's right on his predictions, he's going to be right on his fantasy. It's pure analytics. The guy is a genius. Respect it. Love it. Understand it. That's for you, Fred. Whew, I get angry every Sunday the last couple of weeks if my guys just, come out. I get angry when my defense starts. So more power to you. But if you're second in your division, Andrew, you're probably second or third in your official everything else overall. So you should be good.
Well, I looked it up. I'm tied for first in my division just based on record. It's 4-team divisions. So there's 8 players total. 3 of us in my division are 4-3. But I am in 4th place overall. I'm guessing because of my point differential.
Yeah, that's probably how they do it. Fantasy's cruel. I gotta tell you, do you feel that anxiety and rage like I feel? I know there's a competitor in your heart of hearts. I've heard you during the Lightning games, and then even just during bar prep in of itself. And
even this World Series, you've been quite angry at the Rays' lack of hitting some nights.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Well, the game starts at 8. You
Yeah,
guys are literally gonna have to outslug the Dodgers in order to win this World Series.
Why are they scoring like 3 runs by the second inning for the last 4 games? That's what just surprises me. I don't know if they're that good or if your guys have the case of the spotlight's too big.
Well, let's table that for now because I want to finish up fantasy and then NFL. But what was I saying? Right. I do a little bit have I wouldn't say it's nervousness. I rely heavily on ESPN as well as Freddie. Freddie's kind of been my sensei, if you will, through this endeavor, and I tell him how pissed off I get when just randomly I dropped Derek Carr one week because I needed needed a roster space to make up for someone who was injured but not on the IR. And then Derek Carr decides to just go ham in a game. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, I've been there. And this is now the crucial point. Francisco doesn't play fantasy that much. Now everybody's kind of going on bye weeks. It's cute for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, the Dolphins were on theirs this week, yeah.
Well, you feel good about yourself, but then who you really drafted to replace certain guys is what matters.
I had my breakdown a couple of weeks ago because in my infinite wisdom, I decided we're a 2 QB league, and I decided in my infinite wisdom to pick my top 2 quarterbacks, which are Stafford and Rodgers.
Oof.
I just so happened to decide, you know what? Let me get them, and then a little bit later I find out, oh yes, they're on the same freaking bye week. So that's where the whole Derek Carr situation, I don't think it was Derek Carr that week, but still, yeah, that was interesting. But if I was able to survive that, so I think I should be okay going on out.
Yeah, and Stafford's getting better, bringing it back to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
They were playing the Detroit Lions.
A battle of teams that have perennially choked this season, at the very least, well, the Falcons and Atlanta in general. But man,
Tank Bowl.
I love how the Lions are 3-3. So with that, honestly, and they've choked away. They've choked away. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that they've choked away a couple of games already. So they should be playing better than what they have been. They barely beat the Falcons. So, but then again, the Bears. Then again, the Bears are leading their division. They're barely a team, and you hate Aaron Rodgers, and you think they're barely a team. So,
overrated.
So the NFC North is basically, and the Vikings basically fell off a cliff. So the NFC North is pretty much fair game at this point, I was gonna say. I love how the NFL app has the insights, and that's what I look at for a lot of this. I love how they try and make like the Falcons stuff like good, like the Todd Gurley thing. Like, oh, Todd Gurley has 2+ rush touchdowns in a game for the 16th time since 2016, which is the most in the NFL in that span. And then Todd Gurley's 10-yard score in the fourth quarter was his 77th scrimmage touchdown since being drafted in 2015, which is also the most in the NFL. I'm like, yeah, but that kind of led to their downfall.
Nope. And I will defend him. So let's talk about what happened, and then I will defend Todd Gurley. So
His
Todd Gurley
slightly went over the line.
Todd Gurley's a big guy. He's like what, 6'2", 223. That's a lot of heft. He's a Hurley Gurley, a Hurley Burley, as you would say, the Burley Gurley.
He went on instinct.
Pure instinct. I'm gonna see how much he actually weighs, so I can just define myself on this one. But Todd, they were giving the ball. Raheem Morris, the interim coach, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer coach, he's telling him, hey, do this. They have the lead. It's Detroit. You're not thinking that anything's going to come of it, even though they have Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay and T.J. Hockenson and Matthew Stafford, who go down as one of the best, very good quarterbacks of all time, never do nothing. Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know, man. Like, Phillip Rivers is just, and I think I'm just going on who I've seen the product of play the last 4 years. I'd rather take Stafford product of play 4 years than Phillip Rivers, who's like, I'm going to sling it. And you're like, no, don't sling it. I'm going to sling it. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do the thing. But Gurley gets the ball, breaks through the line, because he's a big guy. He's not Derrick Henry big. We love you, King Derrick. But he ends up trying to stop his momentum, and then just and he did it on purpose, the way you look at it, because what he should have done is just done a QB slide and just flop it.
Yeah.
But he goes to momentum. He wanted those stats. But he scores a touchdown, leaving time, 64 seconds or a minute and a half left.
Sum up, yep.
The Detroit Lions come in, and then Matt Stafford, I forgot who it was, too. I think it was Kenny Golladay. But Matt Stafford, with time expiring, throws a game-winning touchdown. And the Lions win the game, saving Matt Patricia from being the third coach fired this year, even though Adam Gase isn't going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
And leaving poor Raheem Morris to use Todd Gurley as the scapegoat to what the real issue of the team is that you should always love your team for scoring. That's how you win football games, right?
Yeah, your defense. You should have enough confidence in your defense to stop one game-ending drive, especially to a Detroit Lions team.
In a league where there's 32 kickers and then only, like, I would say 10 of them are truly clutch enough to not break under pressure, because we've seen a lot of weird missed kicks. And mind you would have to really screw up for a 24 or 25-yarder. But the truth of the matter is sometimes that special teams get lucky. Sometimes you're high-paid, looking at you, Steven Gostowski, because I'm coming to you, son. Guy with great repertoire misses an easy field goal at 45 yards, costing you a tying game against the Steelers, showing that you're frauds. I hate you, Steven Gostowski. Cut him. Just cut him. So why wouldn't you take praise into your guy for scoring 6 points and leave your kicker to get additional point to get to a 7-point lead? It's not really a 7-point lead, but I'm not doing math right now. I'm doing explanations. Instead, you're really just going to kind of make a scapegoat out of a guy who doesn't even play defense. So how is it really Todd Gurley's fault?
I don't fault Todd Gurley. I don't fault him at all. I just find it very Atlanta and very funny.
Oh, it's very Atlanta because they're a poorly run organization. And here's part of the problem, too. Side note, Todd Gurley's 6'1", 231. I just checked on the wiki. How easy do you think it is to stop that momentum? How easy? It is not as easy, especially if you're breaking through tails. You just go straight to zero.
I don't think it was even that. I think it's just, just instinct. I mean, the man has been taught since he was a kid, you hand me the ball, I go run over there. And that's a Fernando Tatis move right there, because he ain't no loser. Yeah,
but you know who's the loser? Right? The interim coach who couldn't do anything in Tampa, and I think maybe had one successful year with, was it Josh Freeman, or was I'm thinking of the guy from Rutgers, Shavano? But no, I don't even think, I don't think Raheem Morris ever had success. There was only like 1-10-6 year, but it wasn't him. So how are you going to blame him when your badly, played defense that paid big money to Vic Beasley Jr. and everybody else? Granted, yes, I know everybody's injured in your secondary, but come on, man. Did you see the touchdown that Stafford had? No one was covering him. I don't know if it was zone or man. It definitely didn't seem like it was man because they was shaded the front end, but it was like an open thing straight to it. You had no pass rush to come into it, but you're going to have this grown adult be like, yeah, it's my fault. I don't know what I was thinking. No,
I think they were playing zone from what I'm seeing here, so yeah.
It was just bad shading. But Todd, it's not your fault. One, you care about me having faith in you because I rode your coattails, baby. I rode your coattails like Jeff Fisher rode your coattails. No one would ever support you more than I did. I got you in 2 leagues. I knew I wanted you. I said you were having a good year, and you've been consistent. You've had 2 multiple 20-point games, 15 points. One last week you were that touchdown, I love it. 2, he's playing for money. He's playing for money, you guys. And at the end of the day, when them GMs are signing out, they're not looking at like, oh, hey, did you cost them the win? Because he didn't cost them the win. If anything, true. He's going to say, how many touchdowns do you have this season? I think he has 7 already TDs. He's like, wait a second. You have 6 or 7 TDs?
On a trash team, yeah.
On a trash team? And his yardage is fine. I think he'll probably end up with 900, maybe to 1,000. I don't want to go that in-depth. You're asking me to actually be analytical instead of a patsy, and I'm very anti that, you guys.
Speaking of, I wanted to look at Freddie's stuff here because he's got it here. We haven't even discussed it. So he's still got the Chiefs at number 1. Got the Buccaneers, who, man,
ass whooping.
Oh yeah.
Bad luck though. Like we'll give them their own segment. I'll comment on that because I like Fred Rank. I like talking about it.
So he's got look at this, most pass touchdowns by a Tampa Bay quarterback in his first 7 games, Tom Brady, even though there wasn't much competition. Pittsburgh Steelers at number 3 beat your Titans. We heard some emotions from you. He's got the Packers. He's high on the Packers, unlike Sir Charles here. Got the Ravens at 5, the Saints at 6, your Titans at 7, the Rams at 8, Seahawks at 9. They lost to the Cardinals, who are now 10. Kyler Murray doing stuff. Chicago Bears 12. He's got my Dolphins at 20, and as the AFC East champion. And we looked at the Dolphins' schedule, I think maybe like a couple weeks ago, and it's like it's doable.
We said 9-7. 9-7, right?
I thought it was, they could sneak in. I don't know.
Buffalo's kind of a joke, man.
But looking at the Bills, who, Yeah, I know. I looking at the Bills and the rest of their division. You know, the Jets are useless. So, but they barely beat them. So that kind of gives me some confidence. The Patriots are not doing what we thought they would at least be doing. You know, they got a nice smacking by San Francisco. That's always nice to see. Look at that, 2-4 for the first time since 2000, since the Bledsoe era. Oh, you love it. Love to see it. Chiefs smacked the Broncos. It was a good game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. The LA Rams looking good, 15-4 since 2018 when they moved back to LA. Out there at the Coliseum, or now their new stadium now, so SoFi Stadium. The Tua turnover, oh no, oh boy.
I'm calling it. Listen, you ain't dealing with that real defense. SEC
that was
primer.
Yeah,
it's a primer.
This is his first game. His first, well, no, technically not his first game.
Plus,
this is his first start.
Name me the last good lefty quarterback that you've seen. It's just a pragmatic thing.
Brunel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, you can give Matt Leinart that 300-yard game against the Titans, but that's it. And I don't know what it is. Some people say it's the positioning on the field. I think common sense dictates you just put your best receiver on the opposite side. I'm not a quarterbacks coach. I'm not a offensive coordinator, but it's that stupid logic, and it is stupid logic. Left hand, right hand, just make the play. But it's the idea that he's soft, like a baby's bottom, right? And then I was going to say something else, but PG-13, right? We don't say the S word. But he's soft, and the fact is they also don't have the weapons that he had in Bama. So I'm curious. I think he's going to throw 3 picks.
Yeah, this is not a great... It's not a great intro game, that's for sure. It's not a great intro game, but if they pull it off, then
I'll shut up.
Yeah, well, that, and people are going to be anointing him the king of Miami after this.
Well, I showed you guys a picture at my local Sam's Club. There is obviously they sell shirts and whatnot. There's a whole area just with Tonga Vailoa t-shirts.
They had a whole pallet of it right there. Wow. Yeah, people are going
I remember
nuts
that.
for this guy now.
It was a pallet. It wasn't just a pallet. It was a pallet maybe 10 shirts deep. So it was like a 10 by 20 thing of shirts, all with Tonga Vailoa on it.
That means no one's buying it if you have that high supply, pal.
No, that's not the case, man. I unfortunately, because of me being in Marlins and Panthers Twitter, I get some runoff from the Dolphins Twitter, and people are a little too high on this guy. By the way, Sun Sentinel, the Miami Dolphins, if you're getting rid of Sun Sentinel's media credentials, I tweeted you, give it to us.
Please.
We'll hang out. We'll hang out there. That's fine.
I lived in South Florida. I can assess why the Miami Dolphins are going to disappoint. It's what they do. You hype up the preseason. You talk about that one victory over the Patriots each year and how good you feel. And then you talk about Dan Marino's shadow. That's it.
All right. Let's see. What other notes I got here? The LA Rams got the NFC East is trash completely.
Super trash. But can they be better? What if Philadelphia and all these injuries come out to be a respectable 9-7 team? Can we give them some credit? Is it better to be 9-7, barely over 500, and get there, or
it depends on how they get to 9-7. If they get to 9-7, they've won pretty much all of their games to get to that point, and they're hot going into the postseason. Then Philadelphia looks scary, right there. It's like you don't want to mess with them at that if they're that hot going into the postseason.
But can we appreciate all
they
the
hobble in
and
lose their last 3 to get to 7? It's like, they're the first one out of the playoffs. Basically, that's what you're looking at. If you're the wild card team, you're not scared of them at all.
So I feel like with all the injuries that they have, and this is the only thought I'll keep to Philly, and I'll go to the next portion.
Mind you, face the Giants who found a way to lose that game.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
If they say white man can't
The man
jump,
can't-
white man can't run.
One
He
man
does not have.
He can't hang on to a ball.
No, he can't do.
He's got freaking. Sheesh, man, he's all lubed up for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, he's greased up in bacon fat.
Yeah.
But the thing of the Eagles is that they've had so many injuries on the offensive line, the wideouts. Are we due for the Carson Wentz injury? Because I know he's injured right now. They just won't announce it because they don't want to put that paranoia. But when's it coming? When's it coming? I'm curious. Because it's
who's their
coming.
backup?
I mean, I know they still have Josh McCown on reserve, but I don't know per se who. I'll look at that. I'll let you do your thing.
Who's the Eagles? Who's the Eagles backup? I'm just trying to figure that out. I feel like I should know that.
They have Jalen Hurts, but he's sure as hell not ready. He can't be. It makes us feel. Ooh, man.
Well, I mean, once again, they're still in the NFC East. So you could still technically win the division even without that.
So
the Cowboys.
Can I tell you why I want now Carson Wentz to get injured and I want the Dolphins to have great success?
Is there a draft pick in it for you? I don't know.
No. All Bama Super Bowl of opposing quarterbacks. Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
And everybody will just rub on the face of Nick Saban of how much they love that team.
Yeah, he'll
But
be
mind
at the
you, that
game. Where's it? Tampa this year? I forgot what it is. Where's the Super Bowl?
Well, it'll be in a bubble somewhere.
Was it a Tampa? I thought Tampa was going to host it.
I don't think it was
Was it?
Tampa because they would have made it a big storyline about a Super. It is Tampa. All right.
Yeah, I thought that was like their whole push. They got their renovation, they got WrestleMania, and then they got that, and I was like, oh, and the virus hit.
But that would bring in the college football fans that hate the pros because God knows the long stroke of loving on Tua and loving on Jalen Hurts and the fact that Jalen might bring. I always love a good narrative, so I love the idea of Jalen being like, "You a punk." How dare them replace you with some guy who's going to bust his hip, who busts their hips, go to the gym. You don't do hip extensions. I do hip extensions all day. Man, that's his new nickname now. Jalen, Mr. Hip Extension Hurts. He's got this. I'm interested. I want this. That's just me now. That's my thoughts.
Of course, Freddie showing the side storyline, Tampa Bay. What if you could have that chance too? Tom Brady.
Well,
going to Super Bowl with Tampa.
Should we transition to the Tampa game real quick? Because I want to put my comments on to Tampa.
Yeah,
if you want to go.
We got like probably a couple more minutes before the halfway point.
All right, so Tampa successfully being nasty against, I guess their opponent, who was it, Jacksonville that they played? No, I don't think it was Jacksonville.
No.
This is the problem. I'm in fantasy,
and
I'm like...
No, it was the Oakland Raiders.
It was the Raiders.
The Vegas Raiders. What do you want to call them?
The Vegas Raiders. So, yeah, Gruden's former team, we've been up on Gruden with his favorite quarterback. Kind of poetic. Brady's hit like 5 touchdowns. Ronald Jones looking good. But here's the thing. The defense is solid. They have played consistent teams. I think beating Oakland and beating Green Bay shows some validity, and maybe Bruce Arians is not past his prime in good coaching, but you lose Chris Godwin to a broken finger. You sign Antonio Brown. Yes, he's still got to learn to play, and Mike Evans is playing very hurt. There's no O.J. Howard. Gronk will eventually get that double, and then Cameron Brate's kind of coming in. Is it the idea if there's more injuries to kind of build up on? You're winning the early games now, but when those games matter more, to get a healthy Chris Godwin, who missed out on hamstrings and concussion issues, Mike Evans, who's basically walking on one leg, Scotty Miller, even though he busts out for like 100 yards, still not healthy. Is it going to be that you are collectively the best season team, but once that end of the year comes in, do you survive any injuries if injuries do happen? Because I'm still waiting for the Tom Brady injury.
Well, let's see.
But are they scary? Kind of. They keep it balanced. Are they scary because of Antonio Brown? Of course not. If anything,
no.
That just makes
that's still a question mark as to how he'll play. I'm sure, and how much they'll use him. Let's see. I mean, really, their only competition. Well, they got the Saints still. I think they still have yet to play the second game. They have the Falcons to beat up on as well. The Falcons have only played one division game so far, so there's some wins there. Then you got the Panthers, who, God help them, they're trying. They're trying out there, but they're just not on that level. I mean, I could see. Well, I could see the Buccaneers trying with all their might try and win that division, especially get one of those top seeds and get the bye. Just for the stuff that you've been talking about, injuries and stuff like that, because and especially keeping Tom Brady as fresh as possible, so we don't have the situation that happened to the Patriots last season.
You don't have a Blaine Gabbert situation either, because God knows. And listen, I know what it means to have Blaine Gabbert start for your team to try to save your season. It's no bueno.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. But I'm interested because you take in the fact there is no bye for anybody who's not the number one, their respective team. And the thing is, when you look at the head of the NFC teams, I can't tell you who really strikes me as being that Super Bowl contender for them or representative for them. Freddie, all QBs born after 1998 just break hip, eat hot chip, and lie. Okay, I agree. I eat hot chip. But Green Bay, I think, is fraudulent as it is, but it's more or less because you're beating the easy opponents. Them smacking Houston. Houston's not a good team. They're 1-6. They have a bad defense. They have no pass rushing. Like, obviously, you're supposed to win that, so you didn't beat a real team. You already know the NFC East is a joke. I like what Seattle's doing, but they're injured. Russ was trying everything, couldn't get done. The Cardinals, I don't know, man. I don't know if I even like Kyler Murray. I think there's moments where I'm awed by him, but I don't know. I think when you have to go into a shootout, it doesn't help, and I think they just let him get hot. San Francisco's still a good team. To be 4-3 and still in last year division speaks how good that division is.
Yeah.
So don't count them out if they actually get healthy. That's the whole purpose. If you can just keep it consistent, just keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Jimmy G's playing
they
like
can remain one game over 500 and then get all their guys back.
Yeah, Jimmy G's playing badly, but you know what? You can play badly and win. It's not really a product of him. It's a product of some quarterbacks just need weapons. If not, you know what? All quarterbacks need weapons. Even Lamar Jackson needs weapons. He doesn't do it all. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need weapons. Patrick Mahomes is just God, but it's okay. He's Patrick McGod at this point. And I feel like I'm missing one of the teams. The Bears are not real. Nick Foles doesn't have the protection. That offense is trash. Trash. And I kind of think I limited out my idea of other teams. So I don't know. Like, Tampa just might be the best team for the NFC as a representation, but are they scary? Because when I look at Kansas City, I'm like, ooh. And then even Pittsburgh, ugh. Get lucky, get the lead. You're 6-0. Your defense is amazing. James Connors is kind of playing better. Juju's looking better. Ben Roethlisberger played like ass, but that's all you need. Maybe it is the AFC team's year, guys. Again.
Yeah. All right. Let's head on over.
Stephen Gostkowski, please and thank you.
Let's get to word from our non-sponsors, people and places and things and concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the past week. I'm going to get mine out of the way just because it's boring and I hate it.
That's not a very uplifting non-sponsor. You don't have to, this isn't like being married, Francisco. You don't have to advocate the things that you hate. It's okay.
It's Ballotpedia. Because I did my freaking civic duty today, and I want everybody to shut up and stop talking to me about it.
Shit. Randy fucking Rosarena, his 10th home run.
He hit one right now?
He just hit one. 1-0
Oh, it's about to pop up on the screen right now.
Holy shit.
All right.
1-0 Rays. Right there.
He owns just about every single playoff hitting record right now. Most home runs, most hits, and obviously home runs by a rookie.
Opposite field shot. Wow.
Opposite field on the second pitch. Holy shit.
You guys gonna give him that Evan Longoria contract? Might as well now.
I'd like to give him one more year, but
I don't know. Well, Longoria did the same thing. You guys gave it to him after that 2008 season. So.
And Freddie, I know I'm behind, but I don't have access to the live cable stream in my room, so I'm doing my best just watching a delayed stream.
Yeah, the closest I can get to stuff is the score crawl there, and it's a bit behind on the stream there. But whatever. Ballotpedia. That's what I used today to learn what the heck was on the frickin' ballot of this thing. And I looked at it. I'm like, huh, okay, yes, no, 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 all that other stuff. And then I did my thing. I went into the Palm Beach County Library and did my thing. And it was pretty quick and easy. Shout out to the Palm Beach County Library. All right, been found some way to go back to you since I've been like 4 years old. So I'm like a freaking salmon. Eventually, I go back to spawn at the Palm Beach County Library. So, yeah,
Hey, I'm not here to kink shame, but spawning at a library that seems illegal.
You never went to the FIU law library during exam period?
I've been in the law library during exam periods.
Not third floor, huh?
Good point.
Whatever happens on the third floor stays on the third floor.
Remember, here's the rules. You go to third floor, so you go back to your desk at the second floor if you're lucky, the first floor.
All right.
That's a good question, Freddie. I'm so freaking nervous about it, so I probably won't be in the right state of mind to do a show.
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
We're a little drummer boy, baby. We keep beating up on here. We don't
have to talk about it. We don't even have to acknowledge
it.
Well,
we're not going to. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Anyways, that's what I used. The promo code. Just stop talking to me. And then I got a second one because I didn't want to do that one, but I had to. Contractual obligations and all whatnot. But the other one's Zaxby's.
Oh yeah.
Let's
that
do it.
That was the first time, right?
Huh?
It was not first time, was it?
Not my first time, no.
Okay.
No. First time was back in Tallahassee at Florida State.
I wanted to be there with you if it was first time.
Yeah, very, very magical summer, indeed. Me and my good friend, my good friend, I said Freddie. I was looking at his comment.
Well, he is a good friend.
Yeah.
Come on, what are you talking about?
Freddie.
I said friendy at the same time, so it was kind of both. But
a Freddie friendy.
One of my good
never
friends,
utter those words again.
Michael, when we went to Zaxby's, he took me for the first time, and it was quite a magical experience. We had those. It was brand new at the time. The birthday cake milkshake that they had. Oh man, that was incredible. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it, man. That was great. Anyways. Yeah, Zaxby's. So that's what I had. I had a chicken sandwich from them today. I didn't go with any of their family meals or anything like that. But yeah, I got their sandwich meal right here. This is what I got, the kickin' chicken.
Oh, I love that.
I want a little spice in my life today, so that's what I got. I was tempted on the chicken finger sandwich, but I'm like, let's get the toasted bread on there. All right, you don't see that all over the place. You just don't. Their famous chicken with the kick. Chicken fingers, ranch sauce, and tongue torch on Texas toast.
Try saying that 5 times fast. Yeah. Good Lord.
Tongue torch on Texas toast. Tongue torch on Texas toast. Tongue torch. Blah. 22-ounce Coke Freestyle. Yeah, they got the Freestyle machines over there too. That's always a great bonus. And they had the crinkle cut fries. One of the few places that I know that actually does that one. Fries were all right. They weren't the best, but the sandwich though, oh boy, and it is a messy sandwich. I'll tell you that much. All right, that thing gets all over your fingers and whatnot. But man, oh man, that's what fingers are for you to suck on them afterwards. All right, it's a very
not
kinky.
Kink shaming.
No, not kink shaming at all. All right. Take it into your local Palm Beach County Library and spawn if you feel like it. So yeah, Zaxby's, and they got a bunch of other stuff, man. I mean, this is freaking good. All this stuff is good, man. They spell salads with a Z.
Yes.
All right, like deals with a Z. They're like a Ubisoft shovelware game on the DS. That's what. But this isn't shovelware. Not at all, man. This is some good eats right here. I don't even. Are they? They're kind of sort of on that line of fast casual and fast food. They're kind of both in some way. They kind of cater to both of us. Hey, they cater if you want. Have your party. All right. You don't have to get some of that overrated chicken from Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I'm on. I agree with urinating tree. All right, that's another one of the things that Atlanta has unfortunately cursed us with. People who think Chick-fil-A is the end-all be-all of chicken sandwiches. So I'm on my soapbox today. All right, I'm not gonna let Atlanta off the hook. All right, your Falcons choked away a game. It's not gonna end. All right. Promo code. Is Zaxby's Atlanta based? I don't. They're Southern. I know that for sure. And there's none. And the reason I got it today is because there's none south of Palm Beach County. So I had to make the pilgrimage on over there. Where are they? We got a bunch. These are the states. They're pretty much the south. I got something here in Indiana. They got one in Utah. That's strange.
That's different.
Yeah. Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. A bunch of places there. Denver, North Carolina's getting one. Orlando's getting one.
We have one already.
Well, they're getting another one. That's how.
I've been to Zaxby's a couple of times. I didn't even know it existed until probably like 8 years ago. I don't remember exactly. Because they built one right off of University Boulevard, which is right next to UCF. So I tried it, and it's not bad. I honestly kind of forgot the taste, so I'll need to go back and re-up and see, how good is it.
Okay. I wanted to see, because they have like a facts page, a frequently asked questions page. I wanted to see if they had anything stupid on here. Like, what's chicken? Well, chicken is a type of bird.
There's a court case. The question is, what is chicken?
Oh, they're from Athens, Georgia.
Contract, yeah.
That's where their corporate office is, Athens, Georgia. So,
Go Dogs.
Yeah, I guess. But if you're from Atlanta and you like the Bulldogs, go F yourself. Please subscribe to our podcast if you're from there. All right. So, yeah, promo code. What was the promo code? Terry Bradshaw, because I think I saw him do a commercial for this thing once.
Okay.
That or Larry the Cable Guy, one of the two.
Charles, you next.
Me. All right, guys. It's spooky season officially. I was having a more difficult time trying to get into the swing of things. It's always kind of tough because for me, Halloween's better for the whole week as opposed to the entire month. I get it. It's the same way of like, oh, the 25 days of Christmas. Well, the 31 days of Halloween. And you watch your movies and what have you. I figured the side note is, what is the best Halloween movie? Not Halloween, the Michael Myers, but Halloween to you. I don't care about horror movies. I don't get scared from them really. But, but we encompass that into the questioning. I still think it might be Sleepy Hollows in that top bit. That's such a good movie. I love it a lot. It's just so well done. I don't know if it's best, though. I have to make that list on the Charles rank of horror movies or Halloween movies. But I have to immerse myself. I have to make myself part. I gotta get spooky. Guys. I don't like horror games that much. I'm a scaredy cat, man. I'm a scaredy cat. But I bought something a year ago on Black Friday for this exact purpose. And I got it for $20. I was like, all right, I feel good about myself. So I've been playing the last couple of nights, popping my TV real low, bright, lights off, sound way up. It's a remake. It's a remaster. It's the way what all remakes or remasters should be. I never really know the differences. Yeah, but Resident Evil 2, the remastered edition, is fantastic. They took if you don't remember, Resident Evil 2 came out like 1996 for the PlayStation 1. Yeah. It was blocky. It was weird.
N64 got one.
Still kind of scary.
Yeah.
I think they tried a Dreamcast port as well, if I remember.
Well, I think GameCube got one as well, but I think it was like a straight up like copy and paste of the PS1 one. It wasn't like they didn't do anything to the graphics. They remade the first one on the GameCube, but they didn't remake the second one or the third one. It was just like copy and paste the PS1 one with all the graphics and whatnot. But yeah, this is the first legit, like, we're going to redo this entire game.
So they took the remastered, or they took with the Resident Evil 7 engine, did it from the beginning, because Resident Evil has changed the way it's played. It's no longer that very fixed camera. It's very over-the-shoulder. Resident Evil 4 is still my favorite. I had one of my friends say it's overrated. I said, go F yourself, sir, respectfully speaking.
Thanks.
5 was fun, but it lost the horror element. 6 was trash. I didn't even play 7.
The Resident Evil games kind of became action games after a while. It wasn't like, it's just, fight zombies and It might as well have been Dead Rising at some point, you know?
Which is fine too if you want to get your spooky Halloween stuff. For this one, it's still equally scary. They made the storyline a little bit more complete with Claire and Leon. You can either pick one or the other. I started with Claire because it's canonically correct. Mind you, I think what they should have done is just done the whole complete story and just switch in between and shove off some fat. I will replay as Leon probably in a couple months. I'm almost done with it. It's only like 9 hours long. The original one completely was like 5 hours, so they padded in some stuff. But it's beautiful. It's atmospheric. What they've done well is they make you value your weaponry, and they teach you don't shoot, run. That's how it's supposed to be. You know, the zombies are just sponges at this point. They don't really die or flush to it. They have the Tyrant, aka Mr. X, who looks like a heavy, just coming around, who's immortal. Depending who you play as, your story might end early with them, or it might end later at the very end. The storyline itself is whatever, right? It's Resident Evil. It's not supposed to make all sense, but it makes more sense than Resident Evil 6 did. Even 7 was kind of out there just because of DLC. But it's beautiful. I like it. I'm almost done with Part A. Will I need a Part B? Do you even need a Part B? Not necessarily, because it all leads to the same spots. It's just a little bit more padding, so that's why you just wait for it. Plus, I like Leon. Like I said, Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game, but I do love me some Claire Redfield. It's gory. It's vicious. It's also old school, because if you remember those old school game kids, there is no arrow telling you to go certain places. They don't give you hints on how to solve puzzles, right? So if I actually was a man that was 15 years younger and had patience, I would not use the IGN walkthrough like I did the entire run, because I'm here just to redo, re-enjoy, and appreciate the remake. It's just going down an avenue of an old love. That's a spoiler, Francisco. Change the thing. But it's scary, so atmospheric, and you don't want to kill things, but when you are getting that successful kill, it's fine. And look, there's parts where I won't even look at the walkthrough. Not that I remember everything from muscle memory, because your boy would go to Hollywood Video and just rent it. That's how old we are, kids. That, you know, we have alternatives aside from Blockbuster. But it was enjoyable, and you just go to certain sports and to win. That's why you should play Leon stuff. It brings in Ada Wong, who's also showing up in Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 6. But it's completely, bottom-up remake, new music, new voice acting. Enjoyable. I will replay it, at some point when I finish it. I'll probably finish it later tonight at like 10:30 when I can't sleep because the insomnia kicks in after I eat my burrito. But yeah, and there's some DLC stuff that comes into it. So Resident Evil 2, they made a third one because the success of 2 was very massive. I'll pick it up when it's like $15. It's only 6 hours for Resident Evil 3, and that's too much for me. That's too little of a time for me to pay anything more than $10. But I'll look forward to it. I don't think they need to redo 4. I don't know if you've played 4, Francisco. I imagine you might have from the GameCube days, but it's still pretty enough in my eyes, so I don't really want them to change perfection. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, promo code zombies.
All right, I'm going to step in here and speak on behalf of Freddie.
Yeah.
His non-sponsor is Hacienda Mexican Restaurant.
La Casa Bonita.
Oh, I love Casa Bonita. Rest in peace. We had a location out in Tulsa that was wonderful. So yes, Hacienda Mexican Restaurants, a staple of Indiana. They have locations in, tell me if I mispronounce this, Mishawaka, South Bend, Evansville,
Yep, here we go. I got
Elkhart,
it here.
There's a Long Beach in Indiana.
There's a Miami Street in South Bend.
Well, Miami's everywhere. Kokomo, Plymouth, Goshen, and Warsaw. His family got takeout from there this weekend. It's their favorite Mexican place. So if you are in the middle of America's heartland in Indiana, and you're craving some Mexican food, go over to Hacienda Mexican Restaurant.
Who doesn't not crave for Mexican food?
People who are... Oh, well, how political can we make it? But there you go. A certain orange man, maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe. He thinks Taco Bell is the champagne of Spanish food. I took the shot. I don't care.
No. There you go. That's fine. Look at that. All their stuff right there.
Well, I'm going to wait for Freddie's promo code.
They got desserts here. Let's take a look at this. I love their website, man. It's nicely designed, very clean, very modern. They got a food truck as well. So they're spreading their wares all over the place. Yeah, tacos, fish tacos. Oh, I had some horrible fish tacos at the Astros and Nationals spring training facility.
I don't know how you guys could do it. You know, it's terrifying because I'm in between with fish as it is, but you guys, fish tacos?
It depends, man. It depends on who makes it. But don't get it at, well, I'm sure they've gotten better at it, but don't get it at a baseball stadium, especially a spring training one, if you have the choice.
Freddy's promo code is Frozen Margs all day.
Frozen Margs all day. They got sandwiches. Look at that. Look at them damn quesadillas.
Quesadillas, man.
Chimichangas. Fajitas.
All right. Real
Burritos.
question. Real talk. Chimichangas or
Got the
burritos?
queso. Ooh.
I've never had a chimichanga, so
Really?
I
Really?
can't.
We're
Yeah,
gonna have to find a place, Andrew.
I've had burritos, although I've never had an authentic.
I will
burrito.
throw you a chimichanga 6 feet away from me and give it to you, and we can eat some.
All right.
All right.
And
I could find some. We can go to the park, and you can sit 6 feet away from me. You can have some outside. That's what we need to introduce you to chimichangas, my friend.
all right.
Oh yeah.
Or as Deadpool would say, the chimmy fucking changas.
Pork rinds.
Pork rinds for $2.50.
Oh God, this looks so good, man. Chimichanga. I kind of like chimichangas for the same reason I like pancakes, man. There's that grimy sloppiness that's eventually it gets to it. It's just good, man. Just good.
It's just basically the deep fried burrito.
Yeah.
You know, and they might put the cheese. It's better with the cheese melted on top than like the chipotle sauce or whatever they put into it.
Yeah.
But it's so good, man. Oh, I mean, I like burritos too. I have a burrito for dinner.
Look at
tonight
this
from
chili
my
con
local taco
tacos
place.
thing, man. This looks great.
Check out the drink, says Freddy.
Oh man.
Freddie, don't encourage my alcoholism. Encourage my belly, because that black bean wet burrito, you know, does things to my body that is synonymous with the word wet. But you see, Andrew, that's a chimmy. It's beautiful. We love it. We want to kiss it. We can give it little taco kisses. Like Colonel kisses, we give little taco kisses.
Taco takis.
Chimmy's.
It's kind of funny because Jennifer Lopez
goes
is
together.
Puerto Rican, which isn't tacos, but that whole episode is just crazy. South Park. Oh man, deep fried awesome. That's what they put there, and they're right, man. They are so right about that. Oh,
Is it just American to love everything deep fried? Because I just could never say no to it.
yeah.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Charles, I God knows which state fair it is, but there is some state fair where they literally sell deep fried butter.
Andrew.
Whew.
Yeah. Did somebody steal a base in the World Series?
Yes,
Did I get
Oh.
my free tacos?
it was Mookie Betts, game
Oh,
one.
okay. Yeah, there you go.
That's
why the man gets paid.
Shout out to that damn catch, because Jesus Christ that he made the other day. Just big ups to him. But chimichangas, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it, and you can't do like a Taco Bell chimichanga because they're trying.
Tomorrow, free taco.
DLTs, Doritos Locos Tacos. Although
Good.
they will substitute regular tacos and other singular tacos because I'm not a huge fan of the DLTs.
So you don't have chimmies and you hate that. All right, man. Don't worry, you'll come around.
I didn't say hey. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say I hate them. I said I'm not a huge fan.
So you remember in Revenge of the Sith when Anakin looks at Obi-Wan and says, "You're either with me or you're my enemy." That's like literally like how I feel, but it's okay.
But
Because
but Charles, only the Sith deal in absolutes.
yeah.
So are you calling yourself the Sith?
I mean, you basically equate me to be an anarchist, so I think the Siths deal with things in chaos. I'll take this.
Well,
I accept my fate. I know who I am.
well, let me take something back. They've since introduced a Cool Ranch, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the other one.
Okay,
And they
it's
have
been
the
a while.
spicy too, as well.
Oh, that
Because
reminds me of my other one.
I generally do not like the nacho, but I do prefer the
Cool Ranch.
The Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
So maybe tomorrow I'll try a CRDLT and see how that is.
Okay. All right. So now we all crave tacos and burritos and chimichangas
Well, wait, I
right
haven't
had
had my turn yet.
I know,
Oh,
I know,
you're
no, I'm
going.
saying, I'm just saying, but now we're feeling that
Yeah.
at the moment. So thanks, Freddie. All right, Andrew.
I guess a quasi non-sponsorship to Mookie Betts for achieving that. Now,
Thanks, Mookie.
now, just out of principle, though, if the Rays had not stolen a base, I wouldn't have done it. But since the Rays did steal a base, I'll consider that enough. So I will get myself a DLT, a CRDLT tomorrow.
All right. So what do you got, man?
I know I've brought the. Let me dive in. Give me a second to kind of wade through here. It is the content team of UCF Athletics.
Ooh.
All right. So
First off,
do I go to the Twitter account or what?
they don't have a Twitter account, but just go to @UCF Knights. Their big thing is obviously, the social media presence for all of UCF Athletics and the individual teams. And they've really been on fire ever since Scott Frost came in 2016. Let me rewind that. Scott Frost coming coincides with the arrival of Danny White, our current athletic director. He is a god. He has done so much for UCF in just a short time. He's only been here for 5 years. But Danny White has done he's turned the program 180. And he has brought us really pretty much into the 21st century. And as much as the football team has been an impact on our visibility and our notability, Danny White, just what he's done, these funding initiatives, new buildings, this content team, he let them go do basically whatever the heck they want. And thanks to him, we are probably the most we're the most tweeted, most interacted with Group of Five program, and we're top 25, top 20 basically all the time when it comes to any team. So thanks to him for kind of shaking things up a bit. But let me get back now to my original point, which is the content team. Not only do they do the social media stuff, they also come up with specialty uniforms. And this past Saturday was our annual space game.
Ah, yes.
And they did, as usual, an absolutely fantastic job. Our game was against Tulane, and that game was probably the best uniform game, definitely of the season so far. And I find it hard to see another game topping it, because we had our space game uniforms, and then Tulane had throwback powder blue uniforms with a surfing pelican on it.
They got this Among Us stuff here too with Tulane. That's funny.
Like, Charles, you were like, you see something beautiful food-wise, and you just can't help but kiss your fingers and this is a beautiful thing.
Not really. What happens is Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart starts playing in my head. That's correlated to what I had on Friday at work, because I represented the Taco Shack before, but I tried their Philly taco, so it's just on the basis of a Philly thing, and I was hesitant. I'm like, I don't know, man, but then she started speaking to me, and I knew everything was gonna be okay, and I really needed her tonight because Forever's gonna start tonight.
Although funny fact about her, she was remember, I think 3 years ago that we had that solar eclipse.
Yes.
She was hired to be on a cruise ship, and then during the eclipse, she sang "Total Eclipse of the Heart."
I mean, life gives you the opportunity, and it's up to you to take it by the balls, right? And that's what Bonnie Tyler does, ladies and gentlemen. She also needs a hero.
So yeah, they have a whole website dedicated to what there's so much meaning behind the uniforms aside from the fact that they just look cool. There's so much meaning behind it. Like the helmet stripe is made of circuits that look like those are old. Oh, it's a flashback. Okay. Like the helmet stripe is designed with circuits to represent the new Orion capsule, which is what's going to take people to the moon in a few years. It's got telemetry. It's got constellations. It's just beautiful, and they just keep pushing the envelope every year, and just props to them. Aside from the fact that they have incredible content just on social media, but they keep coming up with these incredible uniforms each year. So props to them. Amazing. Kudos. Promo code Citronaut.
Okay.
And that is a double over Mookie Betts' head by Kevin Kiermaier. And the Rays have a man in scoring position with one out in the top of the second.
All right, let me get some. Let's see. The NHL canceled the Winter Classic and the All-Star Game. Sunrise. We talked about that.
Where were those going to be? Well, I know the All-Star Game was going to be down here, but where's the Winter Classic going to be?
Minnesota.
Birthplace of hockey, or not the birthplace of hockey, but like the home of American hockey. State of hockey. There we go.
Yep. 10,000 lakes, and they use it for hockey. All right, so player remember forget. I want to get this out of the way. No, not really. Let me this one. All right, player remember forget. I was just looking stuff up for Marlins history and stuff, and I found a player that maybe you guys know, but just because of the position that he was playing when he had his major league career, Arthur Rhodes. All right, he was a reliever, so even on championship teams, relievers are seldom remembered unless they're
Mariano Rivera,
a closer or something like that. So, probably some great setup men. Maybe you'll remember one or two, but the other guys that make up a bullpen, you don't remember them. And Arthur Rhodes deserves to be remembered, right? Major League Baseball player, relief pitcher, through lefty. Drafted in 1988 by the Baltimore Orioles. He's from Texas. In the second round there. Out of high school, he was drafted, not from the Longhorns. And he played for a ton of teams. The Baltimore Orioles, the Seattle Mariners, the Oakland A's, the Cleveland Indians, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Florida Marlins, the Cincinnati Reds, and the Texas Rangers and St. Louis Cardinals. 15.1.
So he played on every team then.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like.
Yeah, 9 teams right there.
The easier thing is, who did he not play for? I'm kidding, of course.
15.1 WAR, pitched in 900 games. I don't know what he's currently doing right now. I didn't see any articles or anything like that. He played in baseball like 20-something years. Let's see, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. And he made his first he made his debut in 1990 or 91, and he made his first All-Star team in 2010. That's how long it took him to be recognized. And
it was like his last year.
Not his last year would be the following season. His last season is epic. All right, 2011, he signs with the Texas Rangers, and then in August he was DFA, designated for assignment. 3 days later, the St. Louis Cardinals come a-calling, and they pick him up, and the World Series that year just so happened to be the Texas Rangers versus the St. Louis Cardinals. Ooh. I think he pitched in a couple games in that World Series. He didn't allow a run or anything like that. But the cool thing was that no matter the result, he was eligible to get a ring. Yeah. So if the Rangers won, he could have gotten a ring. If the Cardinals won, he was going to get a ring.
So he Anderson Varejao it.
Yeah. So that didn't work out for Varejao, right? I don't think he.
No, I don't think they did, but that was the
Yeah.
logic coming into it.
Yeah.
He's the one I can think of to which had that fortune.
Yeah. So, Arthur Rhodes got his ring in his final ever season. He retired after that. Good on him.
I mean, why not? You've been pitching for 20 years,
He
and you've reached the mountaintop.
finally-
You've got really nothing else to
Yeah, he's like, he got his
go.
All-Star game. He got his championship. He's done, and he holds he's the MLB record holder for most holds in baseball history. There you go.
Okay.
So if he got into the game, most likely nothing would change by the time he gets out of the game.
Which is exactly what you want, that kind of position, man.
Exactly.
So Arthur Rhodes, man. All right. So a player remember forget that's actually accomplished things. All right, it's not. Sometimes we forget about these guys, man. It's not just about
And that's what
John
that's what it's
Travolta's
all
private,
about, man.
Yeah, private pilot or anything like that. It's not just about that. All right.
That's what this is all about.
You go, girl.
All right.
Highlight women in sports today. I got. Why isn't this thing? Oh, there you go. Why? Come on, just freaking highlight it. There you go. All right. So I got Brianna Stewart.
Ooh, okay.
All right, Brianna Stewart is my my highlight this week. She plays for the Seattle Storm of the WNBA. She went to UConn for college. That's where she was drafted first overall in 2016. She also plays in Europe in the WNBA offseason to make some more cash. Two-time WNBA championship, most recently this year in the bubble. Where was the WNBA bubble again? Like Bradenton or something like
Bradenton
that?
at the IMG Academy.
Yeah, there you go. In Bradenton, she was also the Finals MVP. She won back in 2018 as well, and she was also the Finals MVP then. She won the WNBA MVP in 2018, two-time All-Star, 2016 Rookie of the Year. While at UConn, she won 4 national championships and was the most outstanding player for all 4 years. Frickin' juggernaut. And in 2016, she won Olympic gold medal at the Rio Olympic Games for Team USA. So that's Brianna Stewart. And she's
Right on.
got an endorsement with Nike. All right.
You go, girl.
You go, girl.
For reals. Let's see. We got
Shall we go to college football?
Yes, because I've pretty much exhausted my stuff. I don't have a goon nor an MVP, but if you guys think of one later, we can go to that if we have
All right.
time.
Well, I'll go with college football now. I'll start with the national headlines. The Big Ten and the Mountain West conferences began play this weekend. They had initially canceled their seasons. There were initially 4 conferences that were going to completely cancel their seasons. It was the Big Ten, Pac-12, Mountain West, and MAC conferences. But after, let's call it reconsideration, which is a nice way of saying they were threatened to be sued.
So coercion.
They were coerced into, although they will say that things changed, their medical experts changed, but that's total BS. They were basically forced into it. So Big Ten, Mountain West started this week. Coming up in the next couple of weeks will be the Pac-12 and MAC conferences, which will be interesting, which means that we would have a full complement of teams playing, albeit those other teams are going to have severely truncated seasons. So it's going to be really interesting how that all shakes out about, who's going to go to this bowl, who's going to go to the playoffs. I don't know. Like right now, Ohio State has played one game and they're ranked third. So
Rigged.
we'll see. Um, so just some national headlines. Biggest upset of the week, and this ties in quite nicely to our Atlanta Falcons discussion earlier, was Indiana pulling off the upset of number 8 Penn State, 36-35 in overtime.
I actually have that in my notes. But go
That
ahead.
was
Appreciate the fact that Francisco made notes for this episode, because I sure as hell did not.
Well, I highlighted the top 25, like the teams that lost in the top 25, and of course, what happened to our teams. But continue, Andrew.
right. So that was Penn State had it locked down. They were going to win the thing, but Indiana decided to pull a switcheroo because Penn State for some reason decided not to kneel out the clock. They decided to keep running the ball when they were within 10 yards of the end zone. So Indiana just kind of parted like the defensive line. Everybody just kind of parted like the Red Sea and let the Penn State running back score for a touchdown. So they took a lead, but said lead was not outside of the safety zone, or it's only kind of came to someone's idea within the past 10 years or so.
Wait, quick question.
Sure.
Was there a Fulmer Cup winner, even with the virus?
We're working on that.
Oh, okay.
we're someone is going to win. We're just kind of working on criteria.
There's a committee meeting happening about it at some point.
Right. Exactly. So, speaking of Fulmer Cup, let's see. I'm just reading it really quick.